appeal, one of those avenues work out for you as a student. So here's how we did. So graduation ready for ELA, we were in alignment with the state. We achieved an 81.7% rate there. The state achieved 81.6. Area for growth would be our math score of 41.3 versus the state 54.7. Okay. I want to go through a couple different subgroup charts as well. So we have the graduation rate percentage for all of our students at 81.7. Our Hispanic or Latino students performed at 71.4. Our Asian students, we didn't have enough reported to be able to identify how they scored without being able to single out who they are in the district. So that's why that's not available. Black or African American, 85.7 and 85.1 for white. So we're relatively close across the board in terms of how our ethnic subgroups are performing. For ELA, again, all students 81.7, economically disadvantaged at 56, special ed at 58.8, 504 at 54.5, and multilingual learner at 42.9. You would tend to expect the multilingual learner number to trend a little bit lower, considering that they're working to grasp their command of the English language, and this is a language arts assessment. So, but our subgroups, although they didn't perform at the level that students who don't meet one of these descriptions meet, they are relatively close in terms of how they perform. For math, all students were at 41.3, Hispanic Latino 32.1, Asian, again, we couldn't report out. Our Black or African Americans, we could report out, but that number was low, but they did not pass, and our white students were at 49.3. And then we look at our subgroup charts again, all students at 41.3, economically disadvantaged, special education, 504, and multilingual learner. And it was interesting to me that multilingual learner on the math actually outperformed the all students main group there.
Right, I'm sorry, I have to ask a question.
Sure, of course.
The percentage, is it out of 100%?
That's correct. Out of 100%.
The state's number was not much higher than these, right?
It was 54.7, and we were at the 41.
And by the end of the school year, what is the expectation? What should the number be at the end of the school year after when they've graduated? What will that number be?
Well, they take this once when they're juniors, so they don't necessarily retake the test. This is just an assessment to determine whether or not they're eligible to graduate based on this test, or whether they take another pathway toward graduation.
Thank you.
So I talked about alternate pathways, and I referenced the PSAT, SAT, or ACT. As long as they demonstrate proficiency cut scores determined by the state, they're also able to graduate. You can also go through the portfolio appeal process. Last week's meeting, we did share that 100% of our students who were eligible to graduate, in fact, did. And it's our intention to give students access to these pathways to help them receive a diploma. So there's always room for improvement. So what are we going to do about it as Hopatcong? How are we going to work together to leverage and put our minds together to boost achievement levels? So one thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be entering a partnership with Linkit. Linkit is a benchmarking and data warehousing platform where students will take benchmarks at different intervals throughout the course of the school year in grades 2 through 11. And what's special about Linkit is it's designed to predict how a student is going to perform on the actual state assessment. It's MJSLA-like, NJGPA-like in nature in terms of the way the questions are designed. There's also, by the time students take Form B, which is in the winter, you pretty reliably are going to know who is going to pass the NJSLA or the NJGPA. And we also have a category called bubble students. And these bubble students are your students who are kind of teetering. They could go either way. So those are kids that we can really hone in on and work with to ensure that we give them that boost that they need in order to pass these assessments. We're able to break down everything down to the standard, down to the skill, and be able to individualize instruction for every student. And the great part is for teachers, the data is really given to them, and it's given to them in a couple of different ways. There's a dashboard that they can log into, and their class's achievement levels pop right up. and they're also going to be receiving what we call fingertip profiles. It's kind of like the back of a baseball card, essentially, okay, where you know exactly how the student performed in various different areas, what their attendance rate was last year, how they did on the Access for Ls if they took it, how they did on the NJSLA, and of course how they do on the Lincoln benchmarks themselves. And you're able to kind of take all of that data, put it all together, and design an instructional program for each child and be able to differentiate instruction in the classroom, and thereby boosting achievement levels.
How many schools use this particular software?
It's going to be in grades 2 through 11, so it's going to be Tulsa, HMS, and HHS.
Outside of Hopatcong, how popular is this tool?
It's tremendously popular, and the great thing about that, Mr. DeStefano, is the fact that we can compare how we're performing to other New Jersey districts, and they also give us what's called an LGP, a Linkage Growth Predictor, and that's based upon how we perform versus the other school districts as well. So it's pretty.
You use it in your school?
No, but I'm just happy because this seems much better than Performance Matters. Like,
Yes.
as a parent, I would get the report from Performance Matters and be like, how can I help my kid? And it wasn't helpful for me, so I can't imagine it was very helpful
For anybody else.
Right. So-
My district uses this.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
My district uses Lincoln.
Yeah, and the great thing too is
It tells you what
we'll
to
be
work
able
on.
to give teachers the power to have this data with them at parent-teacher conferences and be able to show your parents exactly where your child falls currently at this point in the school year, and also what that teacher is going to be able to do for that child to help them throughout the course of the school.
How many data points do we have? In other words, how many times a year will this assessment come out to the parents and to the?
3 times. So there's going to be a fall, winter, and spring administration, and we call them Form A, B, and C. Okay. You have a question?
Yes. How many, I don't know if you can give me this information. How many of these students have started, kindergarten and first grade and gone all the way through the system?
That's another thing that we can track. We can track transiency in terms of students who have entered the district, whether they're like true Hopatcong kids that have been with us the whole time, or whether or not they've come from other places. Teachers will have that data as well, and it's great to be able to give them an assessment that's norm referenced, so that we can see where they're at, what they know and what they don't, down to the New Jersey State Learning Standard or the particular skill that we're focusing on.
And Madeline, I can answer your question. So less than 58%, 58% of our students start here in kindergarten and finish here as high school students in our most recent graduating class. So we have a very large instance of mobility within our school district where students come and go. We have a number of students who come in 3rd grade, let's say, they're there half a year, they move and they go somewhere else, and then they come back, grade levels different. In the years when you were in the classroom and I first started here 22 years ago, our mobility rate was under 5%, meaning students started here and they finished here. And we see our student population has become more transient over the years, with parents and students moving in and out of the district over multiple years.
Because it's not fair to the school district for them to giving out this information when they're not getting the whole picture. I mean, the school district may be doing their job, but if you have students coming in and out, that is not what is happening in the school district. So somehow or other, there has to be another picture being put out there to make it fair for the school district, so people can feel proud of their school district for the work that they've done.
Absolutely, and I agree with you, but I don't disagree. But I will make one point that no matter, we can't control who walks through our doors, right? So it's our job as educators to ascertain where they're at, what they know, what they don't, and we have to go in and triage that in order to get them to bump to proficiency.
But the information that goes out there can be given in a different way.
Well, that's very true, and sometimes the way it's reported out in the paper or by the state can tend to be unfair.
It's not always very beneficial.
I'm on
to
it.
go back on school
Oh.
systems.
Yes.
Thanks, Nicole.
Say the least,
Well, that's.
say the least.
Okay, bring
I
it
hope
back.
to change that.
Maybe that kind of meeting, huh?
So what else are we going to do? One area I'm very passionate about is our multilingual learners. You may know them as ESL students, the new way we reference them as multilingual learners because it is an asset to be a multilingual person. So we're really going to work with those students as well. And then every single teacher who works with a multilingual learner student is going to also receive a special WIDA fingertip profile. And on that fingertip profile are the WIDA performance descriptors. And the teacher will be able to know what the student knows and doesn't know how to do in reference to their acquisition of the English language. Maybe they're very good verbally, but they're having trouble with reading comprehension. Maybe they're a great writer, but they don't necessarily grasp something when it's said the first time. So again, that's another great tool that they'll be able to use to differentiate instruction, just by your instructional approach. You know, we all have different, we knew about learning styles back in the day and everything. We're able to figure out what's going on with these children, and we're able to help them. We're also going to monitor the implementation of the new curricula that we've been working on over the summer. And the focus is going to be on standards mastery. We've really worked hard to make sure that we're addressing all of the New Jersey State learning standards in our curriculum. It'll be my focus and the focus of the administrative team to make sure that that curriculum is rolled out in a way that is the way it's supposed to be. We're also going to be leveraging data conversations during common planning and faculty meetings. And we're going to have school goals and administrator goals that are based on improvement of student learning outcomes and decreasing chronic absenteeism.
And Matt, I'm just going to make a point on student absenteeism. So this will absolutely be a focus for us this year. The state of New Jersey defines chronic absenteeism as a student missing 10% or more of a school year. So a student that out of 180 days misses 18 days a year, right, is considered to be chronically absent. Our absentee rate for students that are chronically absent is close to 20% in the early elementary levels, and it levels out around 12 or 13% in the middle and high school levels. So if you look and think about missing 18 days a year, by the time you're in ninth grade, if you start in kindergarten and you miss 18 days a year, you've missed the equivalent of 180 days, an entire school year, over that time period. Now, that will be a point that we're going to discuss with our families. And part of those discussions are going to be, look, I understand that we all can't take vacations during certain times of the year or when we want to go away, but education needs to be our priority. If a student is sick, that's one thing. Doctor's appointments, family vacations. Our emphasis needs to be being in the classroom, learning, and making sure that we're able to attend the lessons that we need to so that our test scores, your academic performance is clearly measured by the time you truly spend in the classroom. And that's going to be very, very important for us to continue to have those conversations. Building principals will talk about it with parents at back to school night. It will be a point of conversation at our back to our parent conferences. It is a conversation that we are having across Sussex County because Hopatcong School District is not the only school district that is facing issues with regard to attendance. Absenteeism increased in the wake of the pandemic. But make no mistake about it, absenteeism was an issue that was on the rise before the pandemic, and it is an issue that as a community, parents, educators, and community members, we need to make sure that we address so our students can benefit from the learning that can occur in their classrooms.
Thank you. And then this is just what I mentioned earlier about the alternate pathways. If students ultimately cannot pass the GPA, these are ways that they can work toward graduation. The other assessment I'm going to discuss is the Access for ELS. So if you're identified as a multilingual learner in New Jersey, there's a standardized assessment that you are supposed to take every single year called the Access for ELS test, okay? And really what this does is it assesses 4 different areas: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. And then it's divided into different proficiency levels, and it's given to students in grades kindergarten through 12. And we do this every year, and includes multiple choice and constructed response items. So how did we do? Oh, before I say how we do, this is how it's weighted. The writing components were 35%, reading 35, listening and speaking 15 each. Okay, so it's broken into different categories that range from entering to reaching. You'll note that no one is bridging or reaching. You might ask why that is. The reason for that is because once a student achieves a 4.5 on the access test, that's the threshold where they're eligible to exit multilingual learner services. Okay? So at that point, the teacher will make the final determination, obviously, whether or not the child needs multilingual services or not at that point. But they're generally released from that class, and per statute, we monitor the student's performance for 2 years. And we make sure that they're doing okay, and if they're not, we can always pull them back. Okay? So this is interesting. 86 students took the test during the spring. Of those 86, 2 received a score of 4.5 or higher. I did mention the cut score. 11 students were in the expanding category. So what we can do for those students that received the 4, we can reassess them in September to see if they acquired any more of the English language, the different domains over the summer via something called the WIDA model in September. If they reach that 4.5 threshold then, they are still eligible to exit at that point, okay? But one thing I do want to note, sometimes parents but in rare cases, they refuse the multilingual learner services. They don't want their children in that program. Regardless of whether or not your child is refused, they still, by statute, have to take the Access for ELS test each year. So that's just something worth mentioning. So what are our next steps? Of course, we're going to, our scores and interpretation guides have already been sent home to families in their native language and in English. So that way we're trying to access everyone. And I'm going to continue to monitor the population of our ML students. In the 18-19 school year, we had 39. Last year, we had 88. This represents a 126% increase in our population of ML students over the past 5 years. And it's really the past 3 years where we saw the big jump.
Can any of this information be obtained and like online?
We
or
can
is
talk
this just
about,
your presentation?
It's certainly not my intellectual property.
Oh.
It's the property of the district.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
we just made it available. Okay. And then I mentioned fingertip profiles earlier. That'll be shared with every teacher. We're going to begin researching PD opportunities for staff to learn more about how to meet the needs of ML students in the general education environment. Being pulled for multilingual services isn't enough. We have to have teachers that are trained in these different approaches to work with these kids so that they can access the content throughout the course of their school day, not just 1 or 2 periods a day. Okay? So that's something that's going to be one of my focal points. And I'm also going to, analyze existing curriculum and instructional programming, and I'm going to report out on progress on that throughout the course of the school year. And that concludes my presentation on NJGPA and Access for ELS. I know it was very thorough. I tend to be, I'm sorry.
I loved it.
That's good. Thank you.
If you have
Thank
any
you.
questions, I'll stay after the meeting. Anything specific? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson.
It was really good.
I have it.
Oh, you
You want me to put it up now?
Whatever. Or maybe at the end.
What?
You could just leave it up.
I just wanted to put up the board. Things he just talked about. Is that okay? No, he said he had it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Can I get a motion to approve the superintendent's report items 7A and 7B?
Move it.
Second.
Really hard.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're all right. I know you were trying
I'm
to.
trying to extend him something.
That's it. On the motion by Mr. Falcone, seconded by Ms. Polachena. Mr. DiStefano?
Yes.
Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee is absent. Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
And Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Okay, we're going to move on to acknowledgements and correspondences.
So a special congratulations to a number of our high school students and their impressive scores on their AP English test this past May. Ms. Kalemba's class in AP Literature, 3 seniors took the exam, and 3 of them earned a 4 out of 5 on that exam. AP Language, we had 17 juniors who took the exam. 4 of those students earned a perfect score of 5, 4 earned a score of 4, and 1 of those students earned a score of 3. Typically with AP exams, depending on the college institution, a score of 3 or higher translates into awarding of college credit for students attending post-secondary education after high school.
We love to clap.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
Great work by Ms. Kalemba and her students.
A couple of us had questions. There's other AP exams. Did they not get reported out?
We
or
don't have
those yet?
all of the data yet.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because we'd love to see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that will most likely be reported out to you on our November NJSLA score report, those other AP scores.
Awesome.
Is there anyone in the audience from a parent-teacher organization that would like to give a report? Yes, Ms. Nikki.
Hi, on behalf of the Music Boosters, we had a really successful band camp week, with the exception of some weather on Friday. It's already scheduled our field performance. I don't know when that will be. Mr. Cerullo will let us know. The band is really young. We had 16 or 17 kids graduate last year. So it's really young. I think a lot of the teams are the same. So come on, watch a football game and watch the band.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Just so you know, the high school PTSO is planning a back-to-school breakfast for the teachers on the 18th. And we've already set our date for the upcoming Tricky Try. It's going to be March 22nd, 2025. So you'll start to see information about that. Our homecoming date is going to be the 18th of October, and the students are putting together an Amazon wish list, so we'll be sending out that to parents and anybody who'd like to donate. And we're also accepting a membership now, so we've been blasting it out to parents and staff members, so it's only $5 to join. You can make a larger donation if you'd like, and that gets put towards all of the events that we sponsor for the students and the staff at the high school, grades 8 through 12.
Do that stuff.
Okay, very good. So now we are going to open it up for public comment. If you put your name on this sheet, I will just call your name in order. Is there anyone who did not get to sign up for public comment? I'd like to make it one. Okay. All right, so first we have Miss Nancy Rowley.
I don't have kids in the school system, and I'm sure like many of you who don't have kids or your kids may have graduated and you're done with that, I get extremely upset when I see my tax bill and half of it's going to schools that for some I don't even use. I don't mind paying for police, fire, ambulance, because I know I'm going to use them. But what I think you should do for people like in my situation, you should start charging tuition in order to start paying for things, just like the Catholic schools do. That will help them with their education, with the after-school programs, sports, whatever. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Just typically, so the public knows, the board will not respond to your questions and comments. However, yours I do need to because it's a legal matter. State of New Jersey requires that public school be free to all students. We cannot charge tuition. Hopatcong schools taxes as a percentage of your taxes is the 3rd lowest in all of Sussex County and the 6th lowest of Sussex, Morris, and Warren County. But state law does not allow us to charge tuition. This body is not responsible for determining those laws. So you would need to address that with your state legislature in particular.
How come they don't charge it?
The law doesn't allow for it. The law requires that public schools in the state, New Jersey's Constitution requires schools to be free, and you cannot charge tuition.
Do you know if other states charge?
I can't answer that question for the other 49 states.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Tom Friel?
Hello, everybody. I have had conversations with several people, and we scratched our heads and well, how many students do we have? Could you give me a total?
I certainly can. We are currently, as of yesterday, at 1,591 students.
Okay. Thank you very much.
The number's going up, right?
Thank you.
Yes, our enrollment is up from 2018 by 103 students now.
Mr. Steve Rensall?
Steve Renault is the name.
Renault.
First of all, I would just like to say, and congratulate you guys. Basically, I sat behind that desk for 10 years, serving as president of the Board of Education for 3 years. And I've listened to the story of that, and I am very sensitive to people's problem with taxes. But public education is just that. It's public. We have a responsibility to educate our children. This town has a responsibility to educate its children. I firmly believe that. I think it's essential that we provide a thorough, quality education for our children. It's essential. It's essential. The other thing I would like to say, I do not mean to be critical, but I was appalled at the last referendum with that white card going around. I didn't bring it with me. That was passed around, coming out against the referendum. In addition to that, there was no name on it. There was no name on it, and that is illegal. Any campaign literature has to have who paid for it. They did not have that on that, and I thought that was below the belt. I thought that was below the belt. I feel also, I think you guys, I was talking to Kathy tonight when I came in, and I understand you had 29 administrators, you're down now to 5. I don't know how you can do it with only 5 administrators.
He's
And
like
also,
10, man.
I also I think it's a mistake, a big mistake, not to have assistant principals. If you don't have an assistant principal for every building, you should have an assistant principal in the district that goes to other buildings on a rotating basis. I think that's essential for the quality running of our school district. Okay? I think also you need to do a better job getting the success stories that you have out to the public. I was showing Kathy, I receive the Brave News from Newton Public Schools every month. It is sent to me as a resident of Hopatcong. I also think that Hopatcong Happenings, it comes out it's easily picked up at the town hall. I do not see anything on here for Lake Hopatcong Board of Ed. You can call the number on the back and put your name in there, and I think you should be advertising aggressively and talking about this referendum. I think it's essential that this referendum pass. I think we should do everything in our possibility to get it to pass. And I think it's just unfortunate that there are so many people in this community that do not know the quality of things that happen in the school district. I've been fighting this battle since I first joined the Hopatcong Board of Education, and it took us years to get a new gymnasium. We were defeated in a number of occasions. Only at the last minute did we get a gymnasium. Hopatcong consistently defeated budgets, defeated them overwhelmingly, and we had cuts from the town council and the state. Only through the working of the Board of Education and Dr. Wayne Threlkel and Jim Clark were we able to move this district together, move this district forward. I think you should advertise how many advanced placements you have. I think what just was said tonight about advanced placement and the success that you have, I think that should be in any letter, that should be in Hopatcong Happenings, and that should be talked about in any reference to the referendum.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
One last comment I want to say. Madeline McManus was my daughter's 2nd grade teacher, okay? And I'm not going to tell you how long that was ago, but I'm only 25. Diane, to this day, says that Madeline was her best teacher ever. Diane went to Columbia University to study for a degree in speech pathology. This young lady next to me with the black shirt on, her name is Susan Jones. She was on the Board of Education with me, and we're here tonight to lend our support in any way we can to the Hopatcong Board of Education so that this referendum passes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And if there's anything we can do as an I think politics should be kept out of Board of Ed, but if there's anything we can do to help you and getting the word out in terms of passing this referendum, we will also do so. Cliff London, who was the former mayor and also served as board president, was not able to be here tonight. I invited him. He agrees wholeheartedly with what I'm saying tonight. The last question I have, Matt, could you just give me a background, what your background is?
My background?
Yes, where'd you come from?
I came from Mount Olive. I was in Mount Olive for 6 years. I was in Stillwater prior to that, and I taught in South Orange, Maplewood for 7 years. So.
And you had a background in testing?
Oh, certainly, yeah. Yeah, I served in Mount Olive as the middle school principal, also as the director of elementary ed. I was the interim assistant superintendent, so I do have a background in this.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to Mr. Thomas Schramm.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that. I really agree with this young man next to me. Just a couple of things, different categories, I suppose. Talking about NJSLA and test scores. Mr. Robinson, do you have charts to show student growth in those testing areas?
I do, and that's one of the reasons that I appreciate Mr. Hallenbeck's support in acquiring Linkit, is that we'll be able to track year over year, and eventually I'll be able to do a 5-year look back trend analysis on not only every single grade level's performance in both ELA math and in science in grades 5, 8, and 11, but also demographics throughout the course of time, being able to see how our students did.
That'd be great, because I know the test and the results that you show us are just proficiency.
Sure.
And for those of you that don't know proficiency, it's just they set a bar, and if you meet it, you meet it. You don't, you don't.
Right.
Right. So it doesn't show if a student is failing and they're at a 20, they get to 65, they're still failing, even though they made 45 points of growth.
Right.
These are success stories that we need to be focusing on, right? Because growth is super important, especially with our community. I think another thing that maybe we want to consider, maybe the board could also think about, obviously from our SLA scores and our access scores, we need to be doing more for ELL communities and MLs as well. I don't think that population is going to decrease or just disappear, right? And that's definitely going to keep increasing. So we definitely got to maybe reach out to those communities and make sure that they find this place more accessible and they have more buy-in to Hopatcong schools district. And then I guess the last thing I want to say is I just want to wish everyone a successful school year, students, staff, teachers as well, and faculty. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Miss Allison Monrose.
Yes, hi everyone. I guess didn't know that you guys couldn't necessarily respond, so this would just be me talking about the before and after care program that's here. So I know you guys use them as a third-party vendor. They're not necessarily part of the district, but I just wanted to make everyone aware that they have a policy written that they cannot service students who don't physically go to the location or physically attend the schools that are here. But unfortunately, my daughter, well, not unfortunately, I should say fortunately, my daughter is actually being sent out of district. And so that kind of puts her in a place where she can't attend before and after care because of her new placement. And in a way, I just feel like that discriminates against students who have disabilities or have IEPs. Just because they're being sent out of district doesn't mean that they're not still part of the district. And it's kind of been a battle with the before and after care because they don't feel like they should service her because she's being bused from Hopatcong to a different location. So I'm not sure if that's something that could be addressed later, but I just wanted to make everyone aware of that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and at that time, we are going to close public comment. Okay, so we are on item number 11, finance. Can Can I please have a motion?
Move it.
Second. Any discussion?
Just a quick question about the Lincoln, though. We didn't talk about the cost. What is the cost of it?
We have negotiated with Linkit to get their cost down to, I want to say it's around $43,000 a year.
A year?
It is about $4,000 more than what we currently pay with Performance Matters.
Yeah.
And we'll be using some of our federal funds to help offset that $4,000 cost.
Okay, all right, that's it.
Yep.
It sounds like we're getting a lot more.
Yes,
For our money.
More robust, more bang for our buck.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, good.
Okay.
You did a great job.
On the motion 11A through 11O, Mr. Falcone, seconded by Ms. Goulan. Mr. DeStefano?
Yes.
Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee is absent. Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Okay, can I please have a motion to discuss personnel, item 12?
Move it.
Second.
Any discussion? Just like to point out that Miss Martella is retiring, who is a beloved teacher both at the middle or the elementary level and now at the high school, so she is certainly going to be missed. All right, can you please call a roll?
On the motion by Mr. Falcone, seconded by Ms. Polachena. Mr. DeStefano?
Yes.
Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee is absent. Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
And Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Okay, can I please have a motion to move 13?
I'll move it.
I'll second. Any discussion on travel and professional development? Hearing none, let's please call the roll.
On the motion by Dr. Capello, second by Ms. Goulan. Mr. DeStefano?
I'm sorry, this is 13?
13, yes.
Present.
Present on 13. Thank you, sir. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee is absent. Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes. Okay, can I please have a motion to move the rest of the agenda? It would be items 14 through 17.
Move it.
Second.
Okay, so now we'll take discussion on policy and regulation, students and services, and resolutions, the co-op. I think that takes us to board member comments. Any discussion on those items? They're new tonight, so I'm just going to introduce them.
Okay.
Any discussion on those items? Hearing none?
On the motion for items 14 through co-op 18, co-op 17. Motion by Mr. Falcone, seconded by Dr. Capello. Mr. DeStefano?
Yes, for all 17, but except for 17, I vote present.
17 present? Okay. Thank you, sir. Dr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Citrich is absent. Ms. Goulan?
Yes.
Mr. Chaffee is absent. Mr. Francis?
Yes.
Ms. Polachena?
Yes.
Mr. Falcone?
Yes.
Ms. Falcone Schubert?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, next we're going to move on to board member comments. We'll start on my left. If you'd like to make a board member comment, just let me know. Otherwise, we'll move down the row.
Thank you for everyone that came out, and I appreciate the board members that served in the past with your voices. It matters. Thank you.
I feel like I should have said something.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. Looking forward to a brand new school year, and thank you very much for coming and speaking.
I was going to make a long case for why the quality of education is important, but my man here did it way better than I could have done it. We're good there.
Thank you, Phil.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
Thank you all.
Same. Good.
Before I get into my board member comments, I just want to thank our student representatives for coming to our first meeting. We don't want to put you guys on the spot too much tonight,
But we're going to.
but we're going to.
Oh, good.
So now,
Yeah.
In a minute, I'm going to ask you to stand up. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to the crowd, and in a speech of no less than 37 minutes each, just give us a little synopsis of who you are and what you're about and why you decided to be a student representative on the board this school year. So I can flip a coin or one of you can volunteer. There it is. That's what I like.
I like that they were both getting it.
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Lillian Sinsley. I'm going to be a sophomore at Hopatcong High School. I've been in Hopatcong School District since kindergarten, so my whole life. I wanted to be on the student representative for the Board of Education because I feel like it would be a great opportunity, and I really just love being a spokesperson for the student body. And I feel like I can definitely help voice any issues or anything that needs to be said.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
Quick point. You went to the RILA this past summer.
I did.
I'm De Stefano, so I help support you in that. Tell us about it. What was the experience? What is it? And then explain how you did.
Yes. So RILA was a 4-day camp where I stayed overnight. It was at Drew University. Me and the other student representative, Natalia, were invited to the camp. We both went. It was a great experience. It sort of taught us skills about leadership and about service above self through a bunch of different activities. And there was also like a volunteer opportunity where we packed meals for those in need.
Right.
And it was just, all in all, a wonderful experience.
What did you think about the last exercise? I was there for that. We had to move around the gymnasium. It's great.
She liked it, Phil.
Never mind.
It was good.
Never mind.
Thank you, Lily. You
Thanks,
did an
Lily.
amazing job. We're looking forward to having you on our team.
Thank you.
And you're a very busy girl. I see you all over town, too. So thanks for fitting us.
Today was Lily's day in town.
Oh, it was Lily's Day today
Yes,
in
it
town.
was.
So
It
congratulations
was.
again. Thank you.
All right, next victim.
I'm Natalia Giovanna Roman. Similarly to Lillian here, I'm going to be a sophomore. I've been in Hopatcong since I was in kindergarten. I think that the reason that we are both here to be student representatives is because both of our educations are very important to us. I, for one, put everything into my education and the community itself. I'm a part of many programs. I also went to RILA. I'm just going to say,
Good.
I think out of all my summers of being a child, I think it was one of the best things I participated in over my summer. I met a lot of
So great. Thanks to Stephanie.
Explain a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
RILA is a.
Was he get 3 minutes?
Yeah, I get 3 minutes. Yeah, that's right. Keep me down to 3 minutes. RILA is an interesting award that's given out by the local Rotarian Club, of which I'm a member. And since I'm on the Board of Education, I kind of helped spearhead the creation of it. We only give it out to 2 students a year, and we're very happy that you all got it and enjoyed it. It was excellent. Oh, and I wanted to invite you to one of our meetings so you can present to them your thoughts about RILA. And it would help us because, I mean, obviously you don't feel this way, but if it were no damn good, we wouldn't pay for it, is my point. So just tell us about it. Tell them about it and confirm for us all that it's a good program for young children, young youths like yourself. Thank you. That's it. Done.
Okay. Thank you. First, I just want to thank the teachers and the former board members in the audience for volunteering your time over the years to give back to the community because you really built what we have here, and we're just hoping to kind of recreate that momentum for our students. So thank you so much. And I think it was just so invigorating to have people in the audience who are so passionate about the town and the schools as we are, because there have been many times where we sat in these meetings and there was a lot of negativity, and it happens online too and on the sidelines. So please continue to do what you are doing. Talk to your neighbors. Tell all the good things about what's going on here. There is always room for improvement. Okay, we are We are not perfect, and we know that. But the way that we get better is by investing our time, our energy, and our money into the programs that we can offer for kids here and the facilities. So to your point, Mr. Renaud, we will be sending out information, okay? It's going to come from the school district. We can't lie. We can't. There are numbers that we can give you. We want you to make an informed decision. So if you get a mailer, okay, that sends home to you, doesn't have who's sending it to you, that's suspicious, okay? And the information that was printed on those pamphlets was downright wrong, and those people should be ashamed of themselves because they did our kids dirty, okay? We will have information to give you leading up to the referendum. Mr. Hallenbach is going to be having some single issue meetings. He's going to be at the back to school nights. We're going to have a website put up with updates. There's flyers over there. Take a couple, drop them off at Dunkin' Donuts if you want. We're more than willing to sit down and have conversations with you. We want you to have all the information to make an informed decision, and we're confident that you'll make the right decision for the kids. So thank you again so much. I just want to end the meeting by reading a thank you note that was sent to Ms. Polachina, our VP here, on behalf of the Hopatcong High School, Mrs. Martinez. Says the Hopatcong High School would like to extend its heartfelt gratitude to Mrs. Polachina for her overwhelming generosity of her time and donations to the high school. The office she recently worked at closed their doors, and Ms. Polachina meticulously took pictures and items and brought them to the high school. Desks, chairs, boards, and light boxes are just a few of the many items the high school accepted and will use to continue to educate students. She is a staunch advocate for the students of the district, and her passion, charitable heart, and kindness will forever be appreciated. So thank you very much for doing that. It's just one of the many things that we do, that you guys do. We really appreciate all of you. So thank you. And on that note, can I please have a motion to adjourn?
Move it. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. 8:00. 7:55.
That means like this all the time.